Hey BookTube, it's Kim at Middle of the Book March. This is the last installment, and I don't promise that, of my latest big giant book haul. And this is going to be my last one for a while, and not the last one ever, because I'm not putting myself on a purchasing ban, but I have no more open book orders out there, and I don't have any immediate plans to go book shopping. That could change on the turn of a dime. So I may have, a couple new books here and there, but this is going to be it for a little while on the actual bulk book hauls. So I saved these and put them all together. These are all new books. Now, new for me does not mean new releases. New means books in brand new condition. Now, these are either bargain books or brand new books. But typically they are bargain books that were overstocks, and most of the time I buy brand new books, bargain books that are from Book Outlet, because they are books that are marked down or overstock, publishers overstocks. And a lot of times what I have found, and you'll see, a lot of these bargain books are hardcovers for books that are going to pretty immediately come out in paperback. So they will bargain price the hardcovers, which I love because that's my favorite format. So let me show you what I have. And the first one is a fairly new release. This is, I think, last fall. I have a couple of books that are fairly new releases. This one is copyrighted 2021. I'm pretty sure it's last fall, and it's The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois by Honoré Fanon Jeffers. And this has been everywhere. It's a very sweeping, chunky book, and I'm going to read a little bit, but it has been everywhere, so I think everybody's pretty familiar. The author is a poet, and this is her fiction novel debut. Let's see. The great scholar W.E.B. Du Bois once wrote about the problem of race in America and what he called double consciousness, a sensitivity that every African American possesses in order to survive. Since childhood, Ailey Pearl Garfield has understood Du Bois's words all too well. Bearing the names of two formidable Black Americans, the revered choreographer Alvin Ailey and her great-grandmother Pearl, the descendant of enslaved Georgians and tenant farmers, Ailey carries Du Bois's problems on her shoulders. She is reared in the North in the city, but spends summers in the small Georgia town of Chickasetta, where her mother's family has lived since their ancestors arrived from Africa in bondage. Since she was a child, Ailey has fought a battle for belonging that is made all the more difficult by a hovering trauma and the whispers of women, her mother Belle, her sister Lydia, and a maternal line reaching back 2 centuries, who urge Ailey to succeed in their stead. So, yeah, this is one of those really super long books that I will probably plan read. And I don't do that very often, but typically if I pick up a book of this length and chunkiness, I kind of plan around it, and I rarely set up TBRs for myself. But this might even in fact be mammoth length. 797 pages, so it's almost there. So yeah. And this one, I was really happy to get this one at a bargain price, and it's got the deckled edges, which I love. I just do. I love those. This one is another pretty brand new release. Again, I believe it's probably coming out in paperback soon, published in 2021. And this is Miriam Toews' Fight Night. I have several of her other books. I thought Women Talking was pretty brilliant. Now this is, from what I've heard so far, and I'll just read a quick bit of the blurb, is coming from a child's perspective or a young person's perspective. And this one says, "You're a small thing," Grandma writes, "and you must learn to fight." Swiv's grandma, Elvira, has been fighting all her life. From her upbringing in a strict religious community, she has fought those who wanted to take away her joy, her independence, and her spirit. She has fought to make peace with her loved ones when they have chosen to leave her. And now, even as her health fails, Grandma is fighting for her family, for her daughter, partnerless and in the 3rd term of a pregnancy, and for her granddaughter Swiv, a spirited 9-year-old who has been suspended from school. Cramped together in their Toronto home on the precipice of extraordinary change, Grandma and Swiv undertake a vital new project, setting out to explain their lives in letters they will never send. So I'm looking forward to this one. Mixed reviews that I've seen so far on BookTube, but I still love Miriam Toews, so I was happy to find that. This one is I believe it's a sophomore, sophomore book after a book I just finished. This is Hana Khan Carries On, and this is by Uzma Jalaluddin. And she wrote Aisha at Last, which I just read a month or two ago, and I really enjoyed. That one was a kind of a Muslim romance based on and loosely retold story of Pride and Prejudice. And this one is her second novel, based loosely on the movie You've Got Mail. And I really liked Aisha at Last, and I thought I'm going to continue with this author. It's kind of a rom-com for fans of You've Got Mail, set in two competing halal restaurants. And I'm honestly not going to read any further, because for anybody who has seen You've Got Mail with Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks, I love that movie. I'll watch any movie with bookstores or books in it. So that's what this contemporary light romance is based on. And one of the things I loved about Aisha at Last is it was a Muslim romance, but there were no sexy portions or sexy bits or steamy bits in the book. And that doesn't, I'm fine with that. But I really enjoyed the story, and I really enjoyed that was part of what the story was about. It wasn't overt. So I think it's going to be a really pleasant, fun read. And I think the same with this one. I'm a big fan of Alice Feeney, mystery thriller writer, and this one is His and Hers. This is not a brand new release. This one came out and was published in 2020. And Alice Feeney is a British thriller and mystery author. I read her book, Sometimes I Lie, and Rock, Paper, Scissors was the latest, and loved both of them. And she's that thriller mystery author where I'm like, what just happened? And I'm backtracking, I'm back reading to figure this out. What did I miss? And I love a mystery thriller that I have no idea, and I could not figure it out. And this is Anna Andrews will do almost anything for her career as a BBC News anchor. When she's asked to report on a woman's murder in Blackdown, the sleepy countryside village where she grew up, it soon becomes clear that Anna isn't just covering the story, she's at the heart of it. Detective Chief Inspector Jack Harper is suspicious of Anna's involvement in the case. He knows she knew the victim, but he hasn't told anyone that he knew her too. And Jack soon realizes he is a suspect in his own murder investigation. And it's kind of a he said, she said, his and hers. So I'm really looking forward to sitting down with that. And her books are typically the type of books that I want to just not even blink and just keep reading and finish it in one sitting. This next one looked so good, and I literally could not resist the cover. This is Island Queen by Vanessa Riley. Now, this author is fascinating to me just based on her bio on the back of the book. This is a debut historical novel based on an incredible true story of Dorothy Kirwan Thomas, a free woman of color who rose from slavery to become one of the wealthiest and most powerful landowners in the colonial West Indies. Now, this author, Vanessa Riley, this is her. That's her picture. And it says, in addition to being a novelist, she holds a doctorate in mechanical engineering and a master's in industrial engineering and engineering management from Stanford University. How does a novelist start off as having a doctorate in mechanical engineering? That fascinates me about her as a person. And I did read a few lines and a few paragraphs of the book, and so far I love the writing style. And this cover is just gorgeous. So really looking forward to that one. This next pile. Okay, let's see. I have another small pile of books, but the very last one is the only book I bought brand new, and I'll show you why. Now, this has been all over BookTube. This is A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr. I didn't realize it was such a slim novel, but I thought I had this, and I didn't. And I saw it on several other BookTubers channels recently, and I'm like, it keeps piquing my interest, and I need to get that copy. And it's also an NYRB book, which I love. I do have a small collection of those. This is Tom Birkin. He's a veteran of the Great War and a broken marriage, arrives in the remote Yorkshire village of Oxgoodby to restore a recently discovered medieval mural in the local church. Living in the bell tower, surrounded by the resplendent countryside of high summer, and laboring each day to uncover an anonymous painter's extraordinary depiction of the apocalypse, Birkin finds that he himself has been restored to a new and hopeful attachment to life. But summer ends, and with the work done, Birkin must leave. I've heard nothing but glowing reviews about this book. And interestingly, some of his other books, this author, have not been successful to many readers who loved this one. So I'm glad I realized I didn't have it and picked it up. This author I'm also a big fan of. This is What Are You Going Through by Sigrid Nunez. She wrote, The Friend, about the Great Dane, and it wasn't a book about a dog. The Great Dane plays a pretty big role, but he is, it's an interesting book, I'll say that. And then I also read A Breath on the Feather of God by Sigrid Nunez, and she has a very unique style. She tends to write fiction in a vignette style. This one may be a little bit different, but it says, a woman describes a series of encounters she has with various people in the ordinary course of her life. And she actually, the novel is about her meeting people who just want somebody to listen to them. They want communication. They want to be able to talk and have somebody hear their stories. And she details in the novel a bunch of different types of people with very different stories that they just need to tell to somebody. And it's a book about listening and compassion and empathy, and what an everyday person may be going through. And I because I really like her, I was, glad to find that one. This one is one of a couple nonfiction books I have, and it's a literary biography. This is Mad at the World, A Life of John Steinbeck by William Souter. John Steinbeck is one of my all-time favorite American classics authors, The Grapes of Wrath, East of Eden, among many others. And I absolutely love both of those books. I think they're his two longest. But this one is, William Souter is a Pulitzer Prize finalist biographer. And he illuminates John Steinbeck's life, the author of the books Grapes of Wrath, East of Eden, Of Mice and Men. And he talks about John Steinbeck as a kind of a social justice kind of a person. He railed against the people who were sunk into poverty during the Great Depression, the Dust Bowl. He railed against corporate greed and that type of stuff. And this book is about him and about his temperamental personality. And I really enjoy literary biographies of people whose books I love. So that was a good one. This is my other nonfiction, and this is Cary by Tony Jensen, a memoir of survival on stolen land. Now, I saw this on several other BookTubers channels as well, and I thought it was going to be something different than what it is. Tony Jensen is an Indigenous author. She is an Indigenous Canadian author, I think. Let's see. She is Métis. I don't know about Canada. But it's a memoir about guns and gun violence. A powerful poetic memoir about what it means to exist as an Indigenous woman in America, told in snapshots of the author's encounters with gun violence. So, not Canadian, she's American. But the one thing that bothered me about a little bit of this blurb is in this very short descriptive top part, it says, for readers of Jesmyn Ward and Teresa Marie Melliot. why does a publisher have to limit a book to certain types of readers? So I thought that was really interesting. But this one says Toni Jensen grew up around guns. As a girl, she learned to shoot birds in rural Iowa with her father, a card-carrying member of the NRA. As an adult, she'd had guns waved in her face near Standing Rock and felt their silent threat on the concealed carry campus where she teaches. I live in New Hampshire, and in New Hampshire, you don't need a license to carry a concealed weapon. Yeah. And she has always known that she is not alone. As a Métis woman, she is no stranger to the violence enacted on the bodies of Indigenous women on Indigenous land and the ways it is hidden, ignored, and forgotten. In Cary, Jensen maps her personal experience into the historical, exploring how history is lived in the body and redefining the language we use to speak about violence in America. Very timely, and I really like the idea that it's in a memoir format, but she's addressing something that's a very timely topic in the United States, especially with our, the New Hampshire motto is "Live Free or Die." So I am going to show you two more books. This one I think is YA. This is a YA author, and it's kind of a queer romance. It's Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. And this is also kind of a, let's see, I'm going to read the back because it's very short. Lily Hugh can't remember exactly when the question took root, but the answer was clear the moment she and Kath Miller walked under the neon sign of a lesbian bar called the Telegraph Club. America in 1954 is not a safe place for two girls to fall in love. Red Scare paranoia threatens everyone, including Chinese Americans like Lily. With deportation looming over her father, Lily and Kath risk everything for love. So it's a teenage lesbian romance along with commentary on deportation and immigration and the threat towards Asian Americans, all of that. And I thought this sounded really good. And yeah, I actually really like that cover too. And this is a National Book Award winner. This book was published in 2021. Now, the last book I'm going to show you is one of a couple brand new books I bought from a local bookstore that I love. And this is Art Spiegelmans Mouse. I bought it brand new for full price because I can. And if I could, I would donate this to a library or a school library or whatever and whoever is willing to read it. And hopefully we'll put it in the hands of my daughter. This is a very controversially banned book in schools across America, mostly in the South. Which is depraved to me and disgusting to me to ban any book where history is realistically taught in a way that young people can absorb easier and understand. This is exactly what it looks like because there's a big swastika on the cover. It's kind of a depiction of Nazi Germany and the Holocaust with characters that are made into mice and cats. It's all in black and white. It's a graphic novel. It's called, and this is volume 1, A Survivor's Tale, My Father Bleeds History. So really glad to find that. And when I honestly wasn't, I would have checked it out from my library, but I wasn't really out there rushing to go get it. But I walked into my bookstore and it was right there on the shelf. And I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely going to buy that. I'm going to pay for that and give my money for that one. So that is it for this, my last book haul series installment. So yeah, the book hauls are going to be slowing down. Exactly like I said, I'll probably do some book thrifting more than anything. And we'll show you those maybe a little at a time. I don't know if I find anything really good, I'll show you those. There's a library sale coming up mid-May that I might try to get to. It's one I've attended in the past and it's pretty good. And they are selling bagged books. You pick out the books, but it's $10 for a bag. And I can fit a lot of books in a bag. So I might try that one. And if I find anything, I'll show you what I get. If I do some thrifting locally, I'll show you that too. Let me know about any of the books that I already showed you, if you've read any of them, if you like them. And yeah, let me know what you're reading or what you found that's good lately. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, everybody.